Come on, JB, get him.
How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another go-karting video. More go-karting content between myself and fellow YouTuber Aldas, who runs an F1 YouTube channel if you weren't already aware. Recently the two of us went to Watford Teamsport to go karting for a 3-session event, 3 15-minute practice race sessions, whatever you want to call them, with two of my other friends, Dhruv and Bright, who are both very decent karters as well. And we ran into a couple of problems, as you may have just seen in that intro. So let me talk you through some of the fun of the event. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that great stuff, and without further ado, let's get into the video. So yes, as I said, Teamsport Watford, myself and Aldas, and I gave him one of my GoPros so that he could record as well, so you get 2 angles across this whole bit of footage, which is quite nice. The event format was 3 15-minute sessions, each one go as fast as you can, fastest lap wins. Now watch this, this dude pulls the nicest switchback on Aldas I've ever seen. Look at that, man just threw it back up the inside and absolutely sent for Aldas. He lost all of his momentum and I ended up clarting into the back of him right there. But yeah, in the first session, it's just a case of getting back used to the go-karts. They're actually probably going slightly slower than you'd expect. Tyres aren't very warm, etc, etc. Aldas getting hit again right there. Yeah, and as I said, just getting into the session, getting a feel for the kart and just having it a go. And here you can see Aldas makes a little mistake, lets me go up the inside, and I just send it through the inside here to take over that leading spot from Aldas. And Bright, my good friend, does exactly the same. Little bit of contact there, a bit of argy-bargy. No love lost between Aldas and Bright. Now moments after that we had a yellow flag in which one person was going really slowly throughout the whole field. You can see Aldas and myself and Bright all in a very small space there trying to get past him, and as it goes green all of us just absolutely go for it. Aldas gets Bright back on the inside and then he tries to follow after me, but unfortunately a few little mistakes here, as you can see, widen a couple of these corners, hits the wall there, starts to lose a little bit of touch to me quite early on. But this is just the first session, so no harm there. And oh, actually clarks the wall again. I think Bright also hit him in the back there too. So for me, it was just a case of getting into driving and having a good session. And it was a relatively uneventful session, but there's one bit in particular that I want to show you. Yeah, lots of nice and simple overtakes. I want to kind of give you a feel for the fact that generally, even though there was some quite slow people driving around, it was relatively pain-free. Just driving around, making some decent overtakes, having some fun, and generally just trying to get around people as fast as you possibly can to make sure that Aldas doesn't have a chance to catch me back up. As you can see there, just sending it to the inside once again. And I love this corner, man, just sweeping straight across it, get that line nice and send it up the straight. Here you can see again a really nice little switchback, go wide here, cut in nice and tight. He's going to lose his traction and on you go. And then this was a really weird bit. So because it was the first session, people didn't really know what they were supposed to be doing. And you're not supposed to overtake on yellow. So this bunch of people just decided to line up behind each other where someone had crashed. And even when Aldas got there a few seconds later, they were still there for whatever reason. I really don't understand, whatever. But when the lights went green again, I was stuck behind this pair. And now I wanted to show you this particular part of this session because this is a bit of foreshadowing for what happened in the next session. So you see this guy in blue, that's the main person I'm interested in here. Driving absolutely fine, nothing interesting, just taking a couple of insides, passing that guy back there and chasing after this person in purple. Now I am being held up here, I'm definitely not being able to go at my proper pace, but they're not doing anything wrong, they're just driving and enjoying themselves, and we're all here to just have a bit of fun and set some lap time. So ideally I'd like to get past sooner, but that is my problem, not his problem, so it's all good. And here you can see I get a little bit of a better run, go for this little outside, and he kind of sweeps across and clarks me into the wall, which was kind of the first time I thought, oh, maybe he's either not paying attention or he's being a bit aggressive. Not too fast. My fault. I was the one coming up behind, so not that deep. And this kind of enabled Aldas to get back into the mix. So Aldas started chasing me down again, which was getting a little bit sketchy. He was getting right up close behind again. So I needed to make sure I made these moves as quickly as I possibly could. Coming down the hill, I know I've got the speed, but again, have to brake hard on the apex, which is really annoying. Blue guy's going for it on the purple guy. He goes wide, and that enables me to go up the inside and take the lead. And Aldas does a great job of following me through, which is exactly what you want to do in go-karting. Following people through is super useful, and then Aldas just clots into the side of me for no apparent reason. Cheers to that, Aldas. Much appreciated, mate. Look at the run through there. Very nice run. Loads more momentum than this guy. I go for the inside again, and Aldas again tries to follow me through, but this time it goes a little bit wrong, and he ends up crashing into the wall. Unable to move, and ultimately ending up red flagging the session, which was very, very kind of him. And that kind of brought that first session to a close. So let's look at the results here. And here's how it ended up. I'm going to exclude everyone except for mine, Aldas's, Bright's, and Dhruv's. We came 1, 2, 3, 4 every session anyway. Dhruv didn't actually get a time in the first session though, as he got into the wrong cart. So he could have been exceptionally fast or exceptionally slow. Who knows at this point? But considering we were always 1, 2, 3, 4, it doesn't make too much of a difference. But as you can see, Aldas was very close to me, so it is time to get into the second session and try and put some more daylight between myself and him. Now this is the session where all the chaos unfolded. Session 2. Let's ride on board first of all with me chasing after Aldas right at the start of the session. We've literally just pulled out of the pits and we're trying to deal with the massive melee that it is to begin with in these sessions, because obviously multiple people with many different experiences, different skill levels, all trying to find a way around each other to get into their relevant positions. So here I am just following after Aldas. Lots of impacts, people hitting you from behind and then causing Constantina effects. Yeah, it's a bit of a mess. But ultimately lots of people overtaken, chasing after Aldas, putting in a bit of a shift, trying to make sure that I don't lose sight of him, because it's very easy to just not overtake someone and get stuck behind someone for too long and then end up losing track of the person in front of you. So I'm trying to stay as close to Aldas as possible here. Jumping forward a lap or two, and here we are sitting behind this guy in purple who we were actually chasing in a previous session, as you saw, and just trying to find another route through. And this time it's a little bit easier because he goes wide, Aldas puts in the little barge, and the two of us make our way through. Very, very nice. But it didn't end there, as the guy in purple wanted a bit more, and as you can see, he just clarted into the side of me, decided that either one of us with the white helmets would do, and just clarted back into me to give a bit of payback to Aldas, I assume, but it is what it is. What can you do? So yes, carrying on, chasing after Aldas again, just trying to get past as many people as possible. As you saw again, many people hitting into each other. Aldas just taking no prisoners in the way that he's overtaking people. Man's just going for it. You got to respect the hustle there. It definitely felt a lot more like bumper cars in this session sometimes than karting, but whatever. Here you can see some more bumping. Me, Aldas, and this other person crashing into each other. Not ideal, not what you want to see. It's supposed to be a non-contact sport, this whole go-karting thing. It definitely says that in the briefing you get before you go driving, but whatever. And this person's done a great job to stay in front of me, but it is a little bit annoying knowing that I'm probably going to do about 2-3 seconds a lap faster than them. And they try and hold me off here as well, so I have to kind of almost lean into them to make sure that I can get the overtake done, because they are obviously a lot smaller than me and therefore quite a bit lighter too. And to just hammer home that bumper cars point, once again into the wall. Very, very nice. Now I didn't get anywhere near my fastest lap time of all time on this track on this evening because it was too much of a mess, but I thought I'd talk you through my best lap of the evening anyway. So coming down the hill, flat out into this corner, trying to get as tight as possible to minimize the amount of slide and find where the grippy stuff is, because it's super slippery downstairs. All of the downstairs section is basically about finding where the grip is and then ultimately using that to your advantage. You can really gas these carts out of these corners because they have so much torque as a result of being electric that you don't really want to focus on momentum, and you want to focus more on where you can minimize the amount of distance that you take and maximize the speed that you get coming out of corners. So yeah, coming through here still, flat out through this corner in particular, this is a good momentum section, but then you want to stamp on the brake nice and hard, get the cart turned, get it turned again here, and don't mess around going too wide. Back into this corner, I did a 46.784, but I can't actually get the Sony Vegas time code to land on it. So look who Aldas and I have caught up to again. It's the guy in blue who was slightly holding us up in the previous session, getting a little bit more aggressive than you'd maybe like, but ultimately was driving reasonably fair. Now in this session, that seemed to turn a little bit for whatever reason. Aldas couldn't get past him for a little while, so with that in mind, he ended up actually letting me pass, but he didn't let me pass in a very good manner. He spots me here coming up the inside, kind of tries to block off the route, and then here we come through this corner and I'm trying to stay behind him, get the line, and then he brake checks me going through there, and I just clocked straight into the back of him. I think he was expecting me to kind of go up his inside, but he was on the main line, so it is where it is. And obviously there he's apologising to me, so he's let me go to try and see if I can chase down the guy in blue and get past him, and as you can see here, I achieved the task. Both of us come through. Very, very nice. Looks like we've got it. But then, all of a sudden, on the yellow flags, he just comes cruising back through like it's nothing. What's going on?
What was that, G? Right, that was not right. He just overtook both of us under yellows. So we've got to get our revenge. Come on, JB, I'm actually rooting for you here, man. Come on, we've got to mug him off.
And even if that misdemeanor was allowable, when it went green again, he just decided to put me in the wall for seemingly no reason. I didn't really understand why. As you can see here in slow motion, he kind of gives no space at all and just puts me in the wall. He literally looked across before he collided me as well. Almost caused a bit of a crash with Aldas there as well. So I thought it was about time we gave him a bit of the old-fashioned street justice. In the background there you hear Aldas shouting for me to get past him. I give him a little bit of a push and into the wall he goes. Basically I spotted my opportunity to go for a run. Here it is from Aldas' perspective. Just gave him a little nudge and then just decided not to turn. You know, my steering wheel's feeling a bit off, you know how it is, just a bit sketchy. For legal reasons this was all a mistake. Yeah, but he found himself in the barrier and myself and Aldas found our way through. But not for too long, because I didn't clock the Aldas on my inside here and he kind of makes me spin round, which the guy in blue just comes cruising around the outside there, thinking he wants to catch up to me, I suppose, and return the favour in terms of clarting into the wall, even though we're 1-1 on wall clots at this point. But then Aldas does a great job of getting back around him and ensuring that ultimately he is now in the mirrors. So for those kids out there watching, remember that cheaters never prosper. Go-karting is a non-contact sport, and yeah, just be nice to people. But yes, the end of the session came quite soon after, and as you can see, putting a little bit more daylight between myself and Aldas, 0.7 of a second there, Bright 1.3 back, and then Dhruv 2.1 back. I'm still over half a second off my best, and I'm probably still about a second and a half off where I'd like to be, but it is what it is for now. So then, on to the final session of the evening, and as it goes green, you can see Aldas and I are starting right at the back of this one, so we're going to have a lot of people to jump through and deal with right at the beginning. So as I said in the last session, it was just absolute carnage trying to get through, and this one in particular, everyone was just on smoke. I don't know what was going on, but everyone was clarting to the back of each other. Both Aldas and I kept on getting stuck in huge Constantinas, and you can hear this one in particular was a big hit, a couple of big hits there. Yeah, honestly, like, needs to get a whiplash claim in on some of these because it's getting a bit ridiculous. But as always, just trying to slice through, and as you can see, and as you've hopefully seen from this video, Aldas has got a very aggressive overtaking style, which I hugely respect. But yes, it's quite interesting to watch when you're behind him. Mine is much more maybe I try and slice and dice, and his is a lot more just like, oh, if I got to put a wheel in, then I'll just do it. Bright gets past me here as a result of Aldas taking the inside quite slowly on that previous corner, so I had to take a bit of evasive to not hit the back of him and continue that Constantina effect that I was talking about. But Bright does a great opportunistic move up the inside here and takes over, well, we'll call it net second place or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, just chasing after Bright now. He ends up clarting into this guy as well, and then when it goes green again after a little yellow, I take the alternative opportunity to jump in and take him back so I can chase after my boy Aldas here. Two of us getting a little bit argy-bargy as well. Honestly, this whole evening was just personified by some quite angry and intense racing, or savage racing, obviously, all in good jest. But even then, you can see I just got hit in the back, I think, by Bright at that point. This person here did not want to get out of the way, so you can see Aldas gets round, and I'm just going to try and do the same thing, but they were not interested, and whatever I tried to do, they would just brake on the line or brake on the apex and allow Bright back past me again. So Bright doing a great job to actually be in the mix on this occasion, which is always good. But then here, great opportunity, up the inside, take both of them. very, very nice. I don't really know what happened. I think the other guy kind of span out there, and I just took advantage of it. Quick thinking enabled it. And here you can see it's the guy in blue again, and I was not willing to deal with his nonsense this time. I'd seen him just a moment ago beforehand. It wasn't very good on the camera, so I'm not showing it. But just before this, he had pretty much just clarted into Aldas, and I didn't want to get involved with that. So here, as soon as I saw the opportunity, I was taking it. And they all got a bit squirrely, so I basically ended up spinning him around. It genuinely wasn't on purpose that time. It all worked out very nicely for me though, because I didn't fancy getting into another battle of clarting into each other as it had been in the previous session. But finally caught back up to Aldas, and this is probably my favourite bit of the evening, just rolling around the track, chasing after Aldas and just enjoying some one-on-one quality track time. And Aldas is a good karter for sure. He's got really good line choice. He really understands how to place a kart in a good position. And even though maybe I was a couple of tenths faster than him per lap, being behind him was good because I couldn't pass him. Like this is not me just sitting behind him for the sake of it. This is me sitting behind him, unable to pass him, which is good. He's got some great exits out of some of the corners, as you can see there, getting away from me out of these corners. But there are other sections of the track where he could definitely go a bit quicker, and same for me. So it was just nice to be able to sit behind him, push, and actually have like a nice proper battle where I wasn't feeling like I was getting held up the whole time. Coming down this hill in particular, this whole section here, I feel like Aldas had a couple of areas he could get faster. So here you can see he goes very wide there, goes into all the slippery stuff. You can get a really great exit there if you just go on the inside and utilise the grippier part of the track. Similarly here, he goes quite a wide line normally. No, not so wide in this lap, but normally goes quite wide there, and that always leaves the door open for you to take the more grippy right-hand side of the track there. And then here as well, he's quite good out of this corner. He gets up the hill nice and fast. That's a really important corner for track time. On this occasion we're pretty similar, but normally he gets through there quite well. That one, again, he often brakes quite awkwardly on the apex, which is good for him because he gets the torque out and gets the speed, but if you're following him it's quite difficult. And yeah, just as I said, enjoying this opportunity, and he goes wide here, lets me through, which I say thank you for. He knows that I'm going a little bit quicker, so he just lets me go, and then he proceeds to follow me, and you might be able to catch a little bit of him talking in the background as I talk through this. But what's cool here is you can actually see the difference in line choice between myself and Aldas, and see where I'm sort of gaining a bit of that time. Here he actually almost gets me back as a result of these back markers kind of getting in the way. I'm very fortunate to sneak through here up the inside, which is very helpful. But and so does Aldas as well, actually coming up on the inside here, and he very much gasses himself up as a result of it. But yeah, coming through here you can actually start to see where I'm a little bit quicker than Aldas. So here he's actually probably just as good as me through this section, and then this bit here I think I just hook it up a little bit better. He goes very wide there, and it's really unnecessary to go that wide. Here similarly, you don't need to go very wide around there. You can kind of just focus on getting the torque and using that to get out of the corners. And this one here is where I really devastate the time. You can see just like 2 kart lengths out of that corner, nice and easy, just by getting on the throttle, in the right position and taking the right line choice as well. Coming out here as well, coming down the hill, I can show you it one more time. I don't think I get it perfect on this lap. I get a little bit too early on the turning, and still I gain about a kart length on him on just the exit alone. It's so easy to gain time in that corner. And I think if Aldas had worked out that corner in particular, he could very much be hitting similar lap times to myself. There as well, you can see I stayed right, he went left, and he lost a bit of time. And then yeah, after that whole fun part of us two chasing each other around, kind of came towards the end of the session. I ended up coming past these back markers here, and just kind of Aldas got stuck behind them for a little bit longer. Bit of a shame. It would have been cool to have carried on that little battle for a little bit longer, but yeah, it's all fun and games, and I'm sure there'll be plenty of other occasions this year where Aldas and I will get back out on track. If any of you guys would like to go-karting as well, Aldas and I have been thinking about maybe organising a go-karting event where we invite wider groups of people and just seeing how it goes. So if you think that'd be interesting, drop a comment in the comment section down below. I'd be very interested to hear your thoughts. And also, yeah, as you can see, Aldas again getting very argy-bargy. I wonder who hit more people on this session, myself or Aldas. I think it was Aldas. He just was absolutely on smoke this evening. So that kind of concludes the video then. I just wanted to give you guys another go-karting video because I love go-karting content. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed driving. It was a lot of fun. If you enjoy the go-karting videos as well, I would really appreciate a like. These videos tend to not be obviously as popular as my other types of videos, but if you really do enjoy it, I'd really appreciate a like just to kind of get up on the old algorithm. Massive massive shout out to the patrons as always for their continued support, and to you guys as well for watching. I will see you in the next one.